So last year, my mom turned 66. I'm sorry, what, 56? She turned 48 last year. She looks fantastic. And for her birthday, she said what she really, really wanted was a hot air balloon ride. I said, hey, knock yourself out. But she said, no. Part of the present is that I want you to come with me. And I'm really terrified of heights, like really, really super petrified of heights. I've done crazy things to get rid of my fear of heights. I've rappelled, I've gone up in helicopters, I've gone rock climbing, and I'm still just deathly afraid of heights. But being the moderately good son that I am, I was like, all right, I'll do this. I'll go up in a hot air balloon with my mom. So a couple months ago, Jess and I went up to Lancaster, met my mom and her friends Jeannie and Jean there, and we were gonna do this thing. And before that, I had spent all of this sort of like crazy ass obsessive time on the internet, like researching like statistics of like, you know, how many deaths had occurred from hot air balloons, and you know, I was reassured by the fact that you're more likely to be killed by an overturned armoire or like a falling hunk of space station than dying in a hot air balloon ride. But that didn't reassure me because, you know, how many people go up in hot air balloons? I mean, not that many, right? So statistically, whatever. I was trying not to get psyched out. So we got up there. It was this scorchingly hot day, sort of like we've had for the past week. And I you know, I was sort of mentally calming myself. I'm like, you know, it's going to be okay. We're going to walk into the basket, and the basket's just going to lift up. We're not going to sense that you know, we're not going to worry about the height or anything. And the first thing they tell us is that for these big balloons, you don't walk into the basket. The basket is tipped over, so you have to like scooch down there on your back and hold on to these ropes. And as the balloon inflates with helium, the basket gets picked up, and I was like, oh, hell no. So I squeeze in there, and they start inflating the balloon, and I could just feel every muscle in my body just harden. I wanted nothing more than to jump out of there. I came this close to saying, all right, I just can't do this. Y'all enjoy your ride. But two things kept me there. One was a sort of natural, like, you know, I didn't want my fear to conquer me. I wanted to conquer my fear, you know, it's that whole thing. But more important, they had budgeted their helium allotment, or whatever they do, for 8 people plus the operator. So if I suddenly like hauled ass out of there, then they'd be going up like with the wrong formula, and everybody would plunge to their deaths, and it would be my fault. So it was out of sheer guilt, and thanks for that also, Mom. Sheer guilt that I just stayed there, and I had my eyes closed. And so finally the balloon righted itself, and the operator hit this hellish furnace of flames to fill up the balloon. And I felt these things just sort of dropping on me, and I thought, well, it's probably just condensation. I had my eyes closed. I didn't find out until Jess told me later that they were bugs. There was like millions of bugs that had sort of occupied the canvas of the balloon, and when they hit that furnace of air, like they all roasted, and it was like a clam bake but with bugs, and the bugs were just like falling on me. But fortunately, I didn't realize that till later, because also I don't like bugs so much. But then every time they hit the condensation would form, and you would get this sort of like warm shower like around your neck. So I am just trying to keep it together. We rise up. I got my eyes closed. You know, people are saying, "Oh, look at this, look at that, look at the other." I mean, that's the whole point of going up in a hot air balloon, is so that you can see the view. I did not want to see the damn view. I just wanted to get this over with. So we keep on rising up. We keep on rising up. Later, Jessica told me that when she put her hand on my shoulder, it was like a block of wood. I was just so tense, and the operator said, "Well, yeah, we're about 600 feet now, and you know, we're going to go up to about a couple thousand feet in the other balloon. There was another party going up. They'll join us." I was like, a couple thousand feet? Seriously? I thought we were just going to be like over the treetops. No, we kept on rising. He's like, yeah, you know, we're about 5,000 feet right now. It's a little hot, but you know, it's going to cool down once we get up to 10,000 feet. So, at 10,000 feet, you pierce the humidity barrier. You rise above the clouds. The temperature drops like 10, 15 degrees. There's no humidity. You are literally up there where airplanes are starting to, you know, ascend to their cruising altitude. It's really damn high. And you'd think, those of you who have fear of heights, sometimes fear of heights is predicated on a frame of reference. Like if you're on a building and you look up at another building, you're like, oh, right? But in an airplane, you know, you don't really feel that. You just go up and, you know, everything looks just kind of featureless below you. But in a balloon, even though physically what's happening is pretty much the same as an airplane, you don't sense the motion, you don't sense the wind, you can hear everything. You can hear the wind, you can feel the wind. You are in an open air basket, 10,000 feet above the ground, soaring above the clouds. And I could tell at that point that the balloon operator was, I mean, he was being very calm. You know, he said, I've been up on 1,700 flights, it's all groovy, whatever. But I could tell he's like kind of looking at me out of the corner of his eye like, either this man is going to poop his pants, or he's going to freak out and kill us all and jump out the damn basket. So he's like keeping an eye on me, and I'm trying to like reassure people like, no, I'm okay, I got it under control, got it under control. So the balloon operator's like, hey, want to see something cool? No, really not. So he pulls out this little G.I. Joe figure, you know, like kids have, where you like, you got the plastic army man, you throw it up and this little like plastic parachute opens up. Well, he drops this thing from 10,000 feet out the balloon. And as it goes down, I notice that there are gaps in the wicker. This is a wicker basket. We're up in a wicker basket, and there are gaps, and I can see the army man. I was like, are you kidding? What are you doing to me? And so, you know, we hit our cruising altitude, and my mom's friend Jeannie asks everybody to be quiet, because it's the other reason that that people go up in a balloon is to hear the unparalleled silence, the stillness, the majesty that happens when you're at the bird level. And I sort of opened my eye and I looked around, and what I saw in people's faces was just wonder, just awe. It was awesome in the literal sense. They were in awe of the experience. I wish that I could say the same thing about myself, but sadly, I was too busy trying to not poop myself or freak out and kill everybody. So then we finally start descending blessedly, and we go back into the sweltering humidity barrier, and you know, these things have no steerage. Like, you go with the wind, literally. And the operator tries to pick a nice field on somebody's farm to touch down, but I mean, there's not a lot of control, and the only guideline that they have is, if it looks brown, don't come down. You know, because it's farm, so if it looks brown, there's you don't want to be landing in a pasture of cow duty. So he's looking for a good farm, and we finally start to descend, and I pluck up the courage to look over the side of the basket, and I found out the balloons really freaked the hell out of animals. There's this dog who's like jumping up trying to bite the balloon, and there was this one Amish farm. They're all Amish and Mennonite farms there, and there was this one Amish farm where there was this startled herd of mixed cow, sheep, dogs, alpaca, and emus. And it was like this surreal kind of like, you know, Dali-esque thing, you know, this like peaceable kingdom of animals just like scattering in terror before the balloon. And we finally touch down, and you know, the balloon lands on its side, and I have literally never been so happy in my life. I have been happy many times. I had a wonderful wedding to a wonderful woman. I've had many amazing experiences, but that sensation of touching down on the ground, just, it was giddy making. I was giggling like a little child to be down on the ground, and then we came out, and and we landed in an Amish farm. And so all the Amish folks, this big family came out, and their little kids with little straw hats, and it was like super cute. And you know, they were kind of like, wow, cool balloon. But I noticed that they were much more interested in looking at the passengers, because you know, there was Jessica. You can show them your tattoo. So Jessica has this awesome tattoo. She was wearing a tank top, and so here's this woman with short, spiky hair and a tank top with like this, you know, big ass ink on her shoulder, and they were just in awe, right? And one of the other passengers was this beautiful black man, just amazingly, like you could cut a side of beef on his pectoral muscles. I mean, he was just gorgeous, right? He was like rippling muscle, and he had his hair all up in the braids with the Erykah Badu thing going on. I mean, he just looked phenomenal. These Amish kids were like, oh. And on their faces, I saw wonder and awe. And I realized that the world is filled with these moments, that even in 7-mile excursions through Pennsylvania Dutch farmland, there are so many opportunities, that every moment is ripe with opportunities for wonder and awe. Even if I couldn't feel any of it myself because I was too busy being scared out of my mind, I could see it on other people, and I could appreciate that. Even as I vowed to never, ever go up in a balloon again. And so we get back to the parking lot, and I'm sort of like, you know, afterwards, we went out to some like Outback Steakhouse thing, and I got, you know, there's something so comforting about a beer this big and a side of like a steak this big. I was craving that. So we get back to the parking lot, and my mom was like, that was great. I'm like, that was pretty awesome. And she was like, I want to go skydiving for my birthday next year. Welcome to Full Circle Storytelling. Thank you all for being here.